Hello everyone, I'm Catherine Frazee. I greet you today from the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq First Nation. I am a settler here, and from this place I offer my words in the spirit of respect and reconciliation. We are settlers and First Peoples come together. Across time and distance and difference, we gather around the warm embers of a common cause. We are people who live and breathe and strive, and strivers who breathe no more, but live still in the honored places of our memory. We are people and history and purpose gathered. We are makers and shakers, seekers and sages, rogues and rascals, all come together. We call our gathering Wingspan. We name it so for a man who soared, a gentle, artful man who coaxed us into the slipstream of our own sweet flight. In this name, Wingspan, we remind ourselves that in the sweep of history there is the reach, the pulse, and the thrust of moments like this one. Moments of coming together. No solitary wing can rise. It may flap its rage and pain, but all that rises will be dust. For travel, for progress, for lift, we summon not a single wing, but an articulation of wings, stretching out from a core of singular intent. At work in every cell are distinct yet complementary forces, each one doing its own brilliant thing, feather and bone and heart. Together they are shaped just so, to slice into resistance and perform the impossible, laughing in the stubborn face of gravity, en route to unseen worlds. Wingspan. In the naming of our gathering, we affirm that the span of wings is the measure of working together. And here's what's really remarkable. As you enter the universe of these 2 days, you might be forgiven if your first impression is one of individual virtuosity. For indeed, we are in very fine company of artists, activists, and scholars, of names that rightly claim their place on the marquee and in the canon. It's an all-star cast, dazzling in its diversity and range. But, and here is the radical twist, this great bounty of talent isn't actually the point. We bring our gifts to the Wingspan gathering, yes, and it's going to be quite the feast. But the point of it all is so much greater than our constituent contributions. For this is a gathering that builds toward greater Wingspan. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, if you have just once in your life held your breath at the edge of a marsh when the sky fills with sandhill cranes? Or if you have once felt that sudden rush of wonder when plovers cross in shimmering swoop and rapture over tidal mud. If you have tasted such treasure, then perhaps you have begun to know this larger dimension of wingspan. Science has a word for the miracle of many hundred birds exploding into a single fluid ribbon of choreographed flight. The word is murmuration. It's a useful word, for the naming of miracles permits them to feature in poetry and prayers and Google searches. But for deeper understanding, science often turns to philosophy. And so in that spirit, I offer the words of Hannah Arendt. Power, Arendt wrote in 1970, corresponds to the human ability not just to act, but to act in concert. Acting in concert. That's it. That's what this gathering is about. We act in story and song, shape and shadow, echo and report, evidence and argument. We act with pride and defiance, whimsy and precision. We move, we think, we voice, we yearn. But through it all, we act in concert. As we practice our chops through this blockbuster agenda, we assemble individual units of genius into an exquisite, interlocking, and asymmetrical pattern, a radical reinvention of culture and society, a world in which everyone is welcome and safe. This is the murmuration of a living, progressive, and inclusive culture. To give it form and meaning, we speak the unspoken truths of our people. We chart the terrain and the settlements of disabled country. And like so many cranes or plovers or songbirds, we move. We move to the migratory call of a more welcoming season, a season whose time has come and whose people are ready to claim their place in it. And yes, we move as well with urgency, in startled response to the predatory cries of austerity and tribalism that seek to wear us down, to weaken us by division, to stalk us into lonely corners of fear. But startled, we draw together. We are drawn into this mighty wingspan, and we rise. There is both freedom and order in our rising. There is beauty and there is strength. Most importantly, perhaps, there is purpose. When Arendt wrote The Human Condition in 1958, she spoke of words that are not used to veil intentions, but rather to disclose realities. She spoke of deeds not used to violate and destroy, but instead to establish relations and create new realities. Those new realities and relations that we seek to create are relations of solidarity across difference, relations that honor the fragility of imperfect human life, relations that make way for the virtues of care and attention to flourish. Those new realities that we imagine are borderless, just, and creative. From disability history and art, from disability theory and experience, we fashion tools of metaphor and paradigm, and we set off on our journey. We are fearless in our imagining and our desire. We are relentless in our welcoming, our exploration, our listening, and our awe. We are ruthless in our infidelity to the coercions of capital and common sense. Now, we are building something new and something far better. That is the Wingspan Project, and we are in the thick of it. Now, it's over to you. In these most tumultuous of times, it is my honor to travel with you. Thank you.